Hello everyone, and welcome to another FastTrack update. Hopefully, most of you already know me, but for those of you who don't, my name is Humbig, and I'm one of the senior consultants at Incentra. Continuing on with the topic of Zero Trust, this month I'm going to bring you everything you need to know about the second foundational pillar of Zero Trust, endpoints. So make sure to keep watching to find out what capabilities are available within Microsoft 365 and Azure AD to ensure you hit the endpoint Zero Trust deployment objectives. And in case you missed it, make sure you check out last month's FastTrack update where I discussed the first foundational pillar of identity. Buckle up and here we go. The modern enterprise has an incredible diversity of endpoints accessing data. Not all endpoints are managed or even owned by the organization, leading to different device configurations and software patch levels. This creates a massive attack surface, and if left unresolved, accessing work data from untrusted endpoints can easily become the weakest link in your Zero Trust security strategy. When referring to endpoints, the Zero Trust principle of never trust, always verify means always verify all endpoints. That includes not only contractor, partner, and guest devices, but also absent devices used by employees to access work data, regardless of device ownership. In a Zero Trust approach, the same security policies are applied regardless of whether the device is corporate or personally owned, and most importantly, the health and trustworthiness of apps that run on those endpoints impacts your security posture. You need to make sure you prevent corporate data from leaking to untrusted or unknown apps or services, either accidentally or through malicious intent. To help limit risk exposure, you need to monitor every endpoint to ensure each one has a trusted identity, security policies are applied, and the risk level for things like malware have been measured, remediated, or deemed acceptable. After a device is registered, users can access your organization's restricted resources using their corporate username and password or Windows Hello for Business to sign in. There are 3 objectives to meet when thinking about limiting risk exposure across your endpoints, and these are: number 1, register both new and existing corporate devices with Azure AD. Number 2, register personal devices with Azure AD. And number 3, enable and configure Windows Hello for Business to provide an alternative sign-in method such as a PIN or biometric authentication. Once you have identities for all the endpoints accessing corporate resources, and before access is granted, you want to ensure that they meet the minimum security requirements set by your organization. This can be achieved by configuring compliance policies within Intune, which will help gate access to corporate resources to trusted endpoints, mobile devices, and applications. Finally, consider setting rules for non-compliant devices to gain flexibility to decide what to do about the non-compliant device and when to do it. For example, you might choose not to block the device immediately and give a user a grace period to become compliant. Once data access is granted, you want to control what the user can do with the data. For example, if a user accesses a document with a corporate identity, you want to prevent that document from being saved in an unprotected consumer storage location or from being shared with a consumer communication or chat application. To ensure there is control over what the user can do with corporate data, you need to consider applying app protection policies across both corporate and personal devices, whilst ensuring that the device itself is secure. This can be achieved in 4 ways. Number 1, apply recommended security settings to Windows 10 devices using Intune security baselines. Number 2, ensure updates are deployed automatically to endpoints. Number 3, ensure Windows 10 devices are encrypted using BitLocker. And finally, number 4, deploy app protection policies to protect corporate data at the application level. Once you've accomplished your first 3 objectives, the next step is to configure endpoint security so that advanced protection is provisioned, activated, and monitored, and a single pane of glass is used to consistently manage all endpoints together. And how do you achieve this? Well, start by routing all endpoint logs and transactions through a SIEM solution such as Azure Sentinel, or route the logs to a Power BI dashboard. Both of these can be achieved by using the custom feed URL that's available out of the Intune data warehouse. integrating data from Microsoft Defender for Endpoint or other mobile threat defense vendors will give you an information source for device compliance policies and device conditional access rules. The device risk will then directly influence what resources will be accessible by the user of that device. Quite simply, using this approach will help you determine whether a device is marked as being at risk, and if it is, access to corporate resources can be denied. Finally, deploying features such as Windows Autopilot, Android Enterprise, or Apple's automated device enrollment allows you to automate the Intune enrollment process and ensure that required security policies are applied automatically to the device to control the access. And there you have it, everything you need to know about Endpoint Zero Trust. If you'd like to know more or need assistance with deploying any of the features I've spoken about today, to help achieve your Endpoint Zero Trust deployment objectives across your organization, please feel free to get in contact with me, the email address below, to discuss how FastTrack can assist, and I'll see you at the next FastTrack update.